the cue action, hitting the ball on the follow through. So we'll demonstrate those now. So once you go down, you've got your basic stance. Your tip goes to the white ball. You've selected the line that you want, which of course is this time up and down the spots. So you've already done your sighting. Of course your stance as well helps you to sight up. You do that before you come to the table. So of course you see now I'm at what now we call the rest position, when the tip is at the white ball. And of course my hand at the back, my arm here should be more or less vertical here. So that's when I'm coming in to hit the ball. So once we're in that position, we've sighted up, we're in the rest position. Now we're going to start what we call the feathers. And that's when the cue comes back and forth. It's like a practice in one way. So the cue comes back and forth. Of course it comes back at different lengths depending on the strength of the stroke required. So this time of course I'm not going to hit the ball very hard. So really it's what I call a medium backswing and feathers, with not very long, 4 to 5 inches. Of course at this time as I come back you'll see the change of the angle of the arm here is coming back behind vertical. And when I come forward into the ball, of course, you should then come back to vertical. So we talk about there the sighting, the rest position and the feathers. The next thing, of course, is to strike the ball. So here we go with the feathers. We come back, and on the last feather, we got then a very slight pause. And as you can see again, the position of the arm at the back. So at the pause, when you're ready, a nice even smooth stroke through the middle of the white ball. The white ball goes up and down the table, and of course then you're left with what we call the follow through, which in my case is about 4 to 5 inches. Right, once you've got that basic stance and technique together, the next thing really is to put another ball on the table, one which we call the object ball. I'm going to try and demonstrate here what happens with the eyes, which are a crucial part of the cue action and the timing of the cue action. When you go down to the shot, of course, your eyes straight away go on to the cue ball to make sure the tip is in the middle, center striking of the ball, and then as your cue comes back and forward and starts to form the feather in, so your eyes start to flick back and forth between the white and the object ball. Now the one thing that you must do when you go to hit the white ball is to get your eyes up onto the point of contact onto the object ball, which in this case, of course, is in a straight line. So I'm looking straight on at a point in the middle of the red ball. So as your cue comes back and forth, so your eyes should be flicking up and down between the white and the red ball. Like most players, when they come back and form the pause position, at that time their eyes will already be up onto the object ball. Most players' faults in this is that they tend to leave their eyes drift off, and once they've hit the white ball, their eyes will straight away move across to the pocket to see if the object ball is going into the pocket. And that in itself stops a good stroke, a good timing of the stroke, and normally causes head movement as well. So I'll just demonstrate the way my eyes work when I'm playing the shot. So here we go with the feathers, back and forth. As you can see, my eyes are going up and down to the two balls. I'm ready to hit now, come back, I stop, my eyes up on the object ball, and they stay there. They never move off the spot. Now this shot is called the rapid fire shot, and what we're going to try and do is just jump the 6 coloured balls into the basket as quickly as possible. So this time we're going to try and jump the white ball over the red and the coloured balls and into the basket. Right, this is a very simple exercise which most professional players use to check if they're sighting correctly, and of course to see if the cue action is coming back and forward in a straight line. What we're going to try and do is hit the white ball over the blue, pink and black spots and bring it back down towards the cue. So down and into the stance, so you sight over the spots, bring the cue back and forth, and if you hit the white ball in the centre, it should come back up and hit the cue back up towards the back line here. Well, that time, of course, I must have hit the white ball more or less in the centre because it came back down towards the cue. Now if you sight correctly, that means you've aimed correctly over the spots, and the cue comes through offline, so your cue action then is offline. This is what happens. When your cue comes back and forth, your tip comes into the side of the white ball, so as it hits the top cushion, you can see it comes off at the wrong angle. So that's a very good exercise to try and check on your sighting and your cue action. Right, another very useful exercise to help you to see if you're cueing in a straight line is using the balk line. And this time we're using the brown spot as an imaginary cue ball. So with this exercise, rather than hitting the ball, you put the tip on the brown spot, and this in itself, with the balk line being here, of course, helps to see if your cue is on line along the balk line. So when you're down there, you can check if your cue is in a straight line in the rest position. And then when you go through, of course, the cue action, back and forth, you can check if your feathers coming back are staying on the line. And when you're ready to hit, you pause, hit, and through the ball. And there again, you can check if your cue is still on the balk line. So there is a very good, simple way to check if your cue action comes back and forward in a straight line. Obviously, if it starts to deviate off the line in either way, that means you're going to hit the side of the white ball instead of going through it in a straight line. And as we can see from the last exercise, you can see that it's fatal not to hit the middle of the white ball. Everything in snooker is really based around catching the center line of the white ball. Whether it's the top spin, back spin, or the center of the ball, it must be in the center line at all times. And that's why the basic cue action in a straight line becomes so important. Right, we've covered most of the basic techniques to play the game of snooker. Now I think we'll just go back through them and recheck on the more important aspects of the basic technique. First of all, we start, of course, with the grip. And if you can remember, it is a very important part because it's only with the V in the bridge hand, the only part of your body that is touching the cue. So it is a very important part. So pick the cue up off the table, not too tight or not too slack, just a firm grip. Then, of course, we spoke about the position of the feet and the legs. The right leg, of course, is straight and rigid, and the bending of the left knee enabling to take you into the shot and get all your weight forward onto your bridge hand, which again we spoke about. Spread the bridge hand, spread the fingers there flat on the table. Just bring them up slightly, keeping the pressure on the tips of the fingers and the back of the hand there. Then you bring over the thumb to form the V, and the cue goes in there to form a nice, smooth V position there, so the cue can stay steady back and through the stroke. Then, of course, we spoke about hitting the ball and sighting. I think one thing I forgot to mention was you must at all times keep your head and all your body, apart from the arm that is moving the cue back and forth, perfectly still. The head mustn't jump up when you come to hit the ball. But then, of course, we come into the most important aspect of all, and that's the delivery of the cue, which is called the cue action. And while we broke it down into separate parts, really the cue action is all as one. You can't really take those separate things like the feathering, the pause, the backswing, and the stop and the hit. All those things must really be as one, and you can't really break them down into individual things. The most important part about it is the cue must come back and forward in a straight line. And once you've sighted correctly, which you start off with, then if the cue comes back and forward, because of course you formed a very good bridge hand, your stance is correct, so the cue should come back and forward straight, and that enables you to catch the middle of the white ball. So let's not forget the preliminaries, which we call the feathers, the pause at the back when you're ready to hit, and then a nice smooth delivery of the cue through the cue ball in a straight line, and then of course you've got a nice follow through, which gives you a lovely firm but very delicate stroke really. You never really hit the ball hard, but you never hit it very slow. It's got to be a solid hit at all times. The other thing we spoke about, coach, which is very important, is the eyes. A lot of people ask where should the eyes be when the tip is actually hitting the cue ball. And we touched briefly on that. So I think the most important thing to say about that is the eyes must be on the point of contact on the object ball before the tip comes into contact with the white ball. It's very important that, and the eyes mustn't deviate off that line until the ball has actually gone into the pocket, or possibly if you're playing a safety shot, give your eyes plenty of time to stay on that point on the object ball. Right, now that we've covered all the techniques of playing snooker, you must remember at all times to practice these basic techniques as much as possible, probably more than actually playing the game of snooker.